Good night then. Sleep to gather strength for the morning will come. Brightly will it shine on the brave and true, kindly on all who suffer for the cause, glorious upon the tombs of heroes. Thus will shine the dawn.
The year is 1940. The world has been at war for just under a year. Nazi Germany has managed to take control of several neighboring countries, such as Austria, Poland, Czechoslovakia, and Norway, while managing to have the Soviet Union turn a blind eye. The Allied forces who waged retaliation against the Axis in the West have been forced to retreat to northern France. Over 338,000 soldiers of French and British service have been routed off the land by German forces and over to the United Kingdom from the beaches of Dunkirk. 1 month later, on the 22nd of June, France signs an armistice with Germany, taking them out of the war and placing the country and west coast of Europe firmly into German hands. One month after France fell, German Führer Adolf Hitler sets his sights on his last remaining opponent, Great Britain. Unlike the other nations the Germans had invaded, Britain was located off the coast, surrounded by the sea. Normal blitzkrieg tactics wouldn't work this time, so as an attempt to starve and scare the enemy into submission, the Battle of Britain began. Instead of using regular ground troops or immediately sending an invasion force, Hitler decided to use his Luftwaffe Air Force to bomb the country into submission while also using his U-boats to destroy supply ships in the Atlantic Ocean in a separate event known as the Battle of the Atlantic. The Battle of Britain went on to last for 3 months, ending on the 31st of October as the Luftwaffe bombed at ports, airfields, and cities, including London, but were later repelled and routed off by the RAF and its air superiority. Realizing Britain wasn't going to fall, Germany turned its attention somewhere else: Russia. Starting on the 22nd of June 1941, 1 year after France fell, Germany, along with other Axis allies, launched the biggest military campaign in history, Operation Barbarossa. The campaign sends nearly 4 million Axis soldiers and thousands of military vehicles into the Soviet Union, killing and destroying all that stands in their way. The campaign is also one of the bloodiest, leading to millions of casualties from both military and civilians, with targeting specific groups being particularly common. The invasion starts off strong, with Germany reaching Moscow within the year, but was cut off against stiff resistance from the Russian capital and later German attention focusing towards another target: Stalingrad. While Europe was preoccupied with Germany and Italy, on the other side of the Atlantic, the United States of America remains in a state of neutrality, only giving supplies to Britain for them to remain afloat. Though the US tries to stay out of this war, one horrible mistake was made. The Empire of Japan, the third and newest main Axis power, who had recently been cut off of supplies from the United States, decided to make the first strike against the nation by attacking the American naval forces at Pearl Harbor. The attack was a devastating blow to the United States and left over 2,000 dead, along with many naval vessels and aircraft damaged or destroyed. However, though this attack was supposed to put America out of action through the rest of the war, it really awoke a sleeping monster. Back in Europe, starting in August of 1942, the battle for Stalingrad begun. The ferocity of this battle will shape the actions of the whole eastern front of the war. After the Luftwaffe pummeled the city with over 1,000 tons of bombs, over 2 million troops clashed in the streets of the city. In the streets, the buildings, even on the individual floors. Various accounts describe the battle as something unleashed from the depths of hell, with the dead strewn throughout the area and fire raging across the sky. While the German forces are locked in the center of the city, Soviet forces outflank their opposition and manage to completely encircle the German invaders. With help from some of the most frigid winter conditions, the Soviets managed to win the battle, humiliating Hitler, opening a new front in the war, and putting Germany on the defensive. In total, this battle alone had around 2 million casualties. Almost a year after being dragged into the war, America joins its European allies in Operation Torch. Starting in November 1942, this campaign sends the Allied powers into liberating Northern Africa from Axis control. This campaign will also be used as a test ground for devising the idea for D-Day with its amphibious assault and understanding the opposition. With resistance given from the German allied Vichy French, the Allied forces were able to take over Morocco and Algeria in 8 days, with Tunisia falling later the next year from stronger Axis resistance. In total, this campaign spanned the whole northern part of Africa, ended with just over 300,000 casualties. After the fall of Tunisia, the Allies started their invasion of Europe by invading the island of Sicily. Starting on the 10th of July 1943, the Allied forces launched an invasion into Sicily, paving the way into continental Italy and onto mainland Europe. Sicily falls in a month, allowing the Allies to stock up and prepare for another amphibious assault, which will be a tactic used throughout the rest of the war. While preparing, a coup d'etat takes place and deposes the Italian dictator Benito Mussolini. Though with Mussolini out of office, Italy's still shown to be a pain to take for the Allies, especially when dealing with the German counterattacks, the Luftwaffe, and the fortifications that lay in the road to Rome. After nearly a year since the invasion of Sicily and several lines of fortifications broken, the Allies made one final push for the Italian capital, breaking through the Caesar line on June 2nd and leaving the road to Rome open. After hearing of the Allied advance into Italy, Hitler decides to withdraw his forces from Rome to escape another Stalingrad. In the early hours of June 4th, 1944, Allied forces entered the historic capital, bringing the number of Axis powers down to 2 and opening the door to the most daring operation humanity has ever seen.
Wait, what? Fall back. Do not strike. Withdraw immediately.
Person's head. Now we want to help bring that dream to reality. Pacer Highway has been a